everyone, I'm Isabella.
And I'm Carmela, and welcome back to Twenties Unleashed.
So today we are joined with another very special guest, Simone, another fellow Italian, and we met him like a few years ago?
Yeah.
When you were finishing your master here in Lausanne at EPFL. And so would you like to tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm Simone from Italy, like northeast of Italy, near Verona or Venice if you want. And I did my bachelor's in Italy in computer engineering, and then I moved here to Switzerland in Lausanne, and I studied communication systems for my master's degree. And now I finished, and like literally 7 months ago, I started working on a startup project, and I'm bringing it ahead. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, super interesting. In fact, today Simone is here with us because we thought that it was very interesting that at such a young age of 24 years old, you are actually starting a startup. The name of the startup is inlook.ai.
Yeah, inlook.ai. Indeed.
Yeah, and yeah, we think, it's crazy. Starting a startup, it's something huge. It requires a bit of effort, motivations, and you need an idea. So yeah, do you want to tell us something about your project?
Yeah, so basically it happened like this. I finished my studies, or actually before finishing my studies, it was last September, not this one, so more than 1 year ago, and I said I was with my brother at home. I came back home because I had still my master's thesis to do, but at PFL I'm studying more or less computer science, so you can do it remotely.
Yeah.
And I did like this. So up to February, my brother was working on some ideas, but it's difficult to find the right niche, the right idea that you can completely commit to. And then in February we started this current project, and we are so like now it's been around 7-8 months. We are not incorporated yet, so we are not legally a startup according to the word, but we are probably close to have our first customers.
That's great.
Yes. We hope so. Yeah, that's good.
So it's just you and your brother, right?
Yes.
And what did your brother study?
So he studied mathematics in Italy, and then for his bachelor, then he went to Trieste. And he studied basically AI, machine learning, and stuff like that. So he's more in the research field. I'm more in the engineering field. And in the end, in the startup, you need to do basically 100 other things that you have never ever had idea of.
Yeah.
So you're learning a lot. Yeah.
Yes, definitely much more than going and looking for a job outside. Definitely much more.
Yeah.
But you work also much more.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
And the idea behind AI, your brother worked within that as well, so you guys both had a passion for that, and I guess so that's also why you decided to.
Yes, the thing is that it's a bit the trend of the moment, but we don't want it to be focused. It's not like AI product that is for people working in AI. No, it's AI product applied to specific needs of other people. So we are focused more on the statistics. Let's say we have a double approach, but in our idea is to make statistics much more easier. Let's say use AI to search the correct data sets, to apply filters, and to visualize trends, charts. I don't know. You want to know what is the trend of sugar consumption among young people in Canton Vaud, and you literally type in the search bar what's the trend of sugar consumption, and you get a result. Maybe then not young people, let's take all the population, or let's take not Canton Vaud, let's take Zurich area. So you can personalize it a bit, like just clicking and changing a filter, and you get the chart that is visualizable.
Was it hard for you guys to find this niche or find this idea, or was it something that came pretty naturally, using the statistics?
Like once you have the idea, it's you are kind of committed. But before that, indeed, my brother, when I was still working on my master thesis, he basically thought about other ideas.
Yeah.
I also tried to help him. I was working on the thesis, so not that much, but a little bit, yes. And all the other ideas, let's say, they lasted for 2 weeks, 2 months, but we didn't really delve into the code.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is that when you're young, you don't have friends or really people that care about you, that are maybe working in a specific company that could be your possible customer. Mm-hmm. You don't have this kind of people. So that's why it's particularly tough. It's not even the implementation, it's really finding the people that are willing to listen to you, to listen to your idea, to understand that it may have an important application in their company, maybe not in their department, maybe not in their team, but in another one. And these people that can introduce to other people are difficult to find. And generally they are your really close friends or someone that somehow likes your project so much, but it's not easy for that reason.
No.
And I mean, I imagine that behind the all AI world, there's a bit of uncertainty from like companies, because I mean it's something very new. It's a new market which is like going so fast in the last years. But do you think that companies are like skeptic?
Yes.
Even if it's like raising, I mean it's getting bigger and bigger, right?
It really depends on the type of companies. Okay. So the more the company is not used to the tech world, let's say, the more the company is conservative, the more difficult it is to convince them. You literally need someone that is inside and literally backs you up every time, because let's say you have to do with I can't give exact examples. I have something in mind, but let's say that you have a company, like for example, even a lot of departments of the public administration. Okay, they are kind of old style, and it's difficult for them to commit to new technologies, even because they have literally no idea how it works. They have no idea about the concerns of privacy. Let's say they use internal data which is privacy sensitive, and they maybe want to adopt your product. Okay, but if they do like this, they would need to know a bit the requirements, the fact that you don't modify the data, the fact that and they have no idea of how to ask this to you, of how to have some certainties. There are, for example, some certifications in reality, and I'm also getting to know this stuff like while time passes. But the thing is that they know even less than us, let's say. And
that's the problem.
So indeed, it really depends on the type of company that you find. Of course, you don't target maybe company that are already heavily in the tech field, because potentially they would be able to do it on their own, or they claim they are able, or they simply don't care.
So you kind of have to find like an in-between.
Yes, you need to find those companies that are that need this tool, because that would, for example, accelerate their time to search for a specific insight, instead of going in a lot of websites and so on. They could simply use a tool, and
definitely. So you also talked a bit now like about the struggle, like I'm assuming it's hard in more than one aspect to sort of get the hang of everything and understand and learn, and like you said before, there's also things that you have never done before, coming from an engineering background, that suddenly have to learn. Like, what helps you to stay motivated and to like continue pushing and learning even though it's hard, or you have to...
Yes. Well, that's kind of easy. The thing is that when you simply need to believe a lot in what you're doing. You need to believe in the fact that it's very useful. Okay, I would never be able to commit to something and try to sell something that I consider myself not useful. I wouldn't be able. You really need to believe what you're saying. Otherwise, it's difficult for me, especially. But if I believe in it, then I can say, okay, there are a lot of maybe other difficulties, and you try to overcome them, because you know that at a certain point you will get into that moment in which people will start appreciating it, because there's the need for that, and there's the problem. You see the problem. You maybe don't have still the perfect contact, the perfect people that need it so much, that are willing to pay, even if now it's not perfect. It can be crafted a little bit more. It can have more data, all this stuff. It's difficult because you need to find these people even now, because you start having some customers. You can claim that you have customers, and then you know the word spreads, and you have more people indeed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. Did you always have this idea in mind that you wanted to go in this direction and explore the startup world, or was it more like towards the end of your studies and then with the help of your brother?
End of your studies, that's definitely. You know, there are even here at PFL or so I guess there are a lot of startup associations, entrepreneurship associations.
They promote it a lot. Yeah.
Yes, what I've always believed, and I kind of still believe it, is that at least here, I speak for people here, not in the US, where it can be more different. I've always seen that the best people, for example, studying computer science or related field at PFL, they what do they do? Among the best people, the most, which doesn't necessarily mean the people that get the highest grades, but the people that are more willing to commit in the long term. What do? In my opinion, they do two things. One type of people, they go for PhD studies, and that kind of people that have studies and research in mind, and it's fine. Okay, it's a choice. And the second type of people, they go to big tech companies. They go to high frequency trading companies, where they basically have really, let's say, intelligent, really very interesting people they can have to do with, and they get a very, very high salary. And then you have the startup world, where, in my opinion, here it's like there are very few people. And what I see in the startup world here is that a lot of people come from basically university labs, which basically startups that start from a PhD, because maybe they studied a lot of years and they want to solve some type of cancer. They want to improve cancer treatment or create some robotic stuff, which is a bit another kind of startup, because that takes really ages, and you are never sure that it goes to market and you will be able to sell it. To find people that basically after, I don't know, a master degree, they start a startup and they are willing to commit to it, not just for a few months, then it's difficult here. In my opinion, it's very difficult. You find very few people. They prefer going for job, basically.
You mentioned big tech companies before, and I mean, we know that you have worked for both Apple and Amazon.
Did a couple of internships.
Yes. Did you also learn something there that was helpful towards your startup journey, or do you completely dissociate the two experiences? I don't know.
The thing is that indeed, when I came here to EPFL, the first day I came here, there was like the presentation of the master students, and the people coming from abroad who didn't do the bachelor here, and I found that there were people very more ahead of me in terms of searching for jobs and so on. There were people, I don't know, you see people going around the campus with the Google backpack,
Yeah,
and say,
okay, I get
oh my
the
God,
feeling.
really? Is it possible? No? Because I come from a little village in Italy, where you think, literally everybody thinks that you must be a genius, okay? You don't need to be a genius. You need to be, you need to apply, okay? Of course, because if you don't apply, it's not the type of company that calls you without your experience.
No.
You need to apply, and then you need to apply again a lot of times, and then up to a certain moment they reply to you and say, oh yeah, maybe we can have an interview. Then you fail the interview, and then you do everything again. And when you iterate a certain amount of time, maybe you get to know a bit of people and so on. you start realizing that someone gets the internships and so on. So you say, oh, what? I'm an idiot. I'm not able to get it. So there's a certain point you also get one.
Yeah.
Maybe, stroke of luck. And then you have this internship, you can get another one, maybe even more prestigious company. But coming back to your question, what I got from it, I think that more than the technical aspects, because I did basically 2 internships. One was in Dublin at Amazon, less than 3 months. The second one was not this summer, like summer 2023 at Apple in London. And what I learned is basically, it's a little time. You don't have really time to delve into a project and understand that in depth. You understand that, from my side, you understand that the people there, they are not more special than the people outside. So you get to know that you understand that, okay, so they are not so extremely brilliant that I need to feel ashamed when I talk to them.
Yeah.
No, you understand that they are normal, so if they are able to work there, you are also able. You maybe are able to do even more. Okay, you can maybe start your business, you can start doing something else. In my opinion, it was something like, I did the internships there, and I had the satisfaction of saying to myself, okay, I did it, check, done. I got the offer to work full time after the internship. Okay, done. Now I don't need to prove anything else, So that was more the thing.
Would you say that you learned how to sell yourself because of all the interview you did? And I mean, if yes, it's the same thing you're doing right now with your project, right?
Not this. But it's not really the same thing. Maybe it helps a little bit being able to say, I'm, I had a couple of experiences at Amazon and Apple. But in the end, what really matters is that, as I said before, the network that you have, some people that are willing to listen to you and understand if they have the problem and you have the solution. Yeah. And yes, that is the main thing. And then, being able to claim that you are some kind of alumni from those companies may help a little bit to claim that you're kind of serious in the implementation. You're not doing something like that literally everybody can do in one weekend. It takes a lot of time and maybe you kind of know how to do it. Yet you don't know how to do it. You learn like by doing and yes.
No, I also found it interesting the thing that you said about like you create this idea in your mind that everybody is better than you, or like you have to have a certain level to go to a certain company or to a certain thing, and then you get there and you realize, okay, it's just that the application round maybe was that level because so many people want to go there, but it's not like I'm worse than the others. And you sort of like rearrange your mindset a little bit. But also you said that you got full-time offers from these companies as well.
From Apple.
Oh, just from Apple. But was it hard for you as well to say, no, I still want to try the startup path? Or like, you kind of question yourself maybe.
But the thing is that also there is like coming back to the thing of you need to apply. Yes, you need to apply, but if it is the wrong period in the market, like it was last year, then you can apply like say 1,000 times and you never get a reply. Okay, and indeed for me it was more or less like this. And can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah, no, I asked like when you got the full-time offer from Apple, was it hard for you to say, okay, should I continue or should I throw myself on the startup?
So the thing is that basically I finished my internships, my internship there in September, so not this one, the previous one, and they didn't have, because of this market freeze and so on, Apple is very, very conservative in hiring. They hire at least as possible, and when they fire, they try not to fire. Let's say, okay, so they are very conservative. They say hire slow, fire slow, the motto. And so in September, I finished this internship, and my team didn't have a position, a full-time position, because almost no team had one in London, I'm saying, and so I had to wait. I knew that there was only one program for basically new grads, for software engineer new grad. So I was careful enough to say, okay, or my manager, to my manager, can you please refer me to the recruiter and so on.
Would have this been in London still?
This was still in London. This was literally my manager that I had during my internship. So basically in November, after the internship, I sent an email, can you please refer me to this program? She referred me, so I got the interview. And I literally, after all the interviews I had for the internships, after the internship itself, after the team was happy about me, I still had to do all the internships again because it was for other teams. So I did another kind of, 4 or 5 interviews. Very easy. Very strangely, they were very easy.
Okay.
But at that point, as I didn't get the offer immediately in September, like time passed, and the more the time was passing, the more I was inclined to not accept an offer.
Yeah.
So basically, then I got the offer in February, and it was like 90% I rejected, and I did like this in the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're 100% focused on your project.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no big plan.
Living the moment, day by day.
Yes.
Yeah. And is like the AI world like competitive right now?
It depends on a lot. Indeed, that's why you need to find a specific niche, both in terms of maybe location. Let's say I'm in Switzerland. Switzerland is generally, you were asking about the companies, it's more conservative than others. Okay, so maybe in the US everything is speeding up. You have companies that are adopting new technologies soon. Maybe they are saying, okay, let's pay something. Let's see if this works. No, it doesn't work. I pay something else. Here, you need to convince people that it's useful and so on. But maybe once you convince them, it's more difficult, and they are not that willing to change technology.
Yeah.
And so there is possibilities, but you need to be in the right field. It can't be a wrapper of ChatGPT. It can't be something that it does basically what ChatGPT will do in the next in few months. Okay, because you literally go against the wall. Okay. So that's why we're focusing more on the statistics and more on the collecting data on our side, because it's very all the websites are very fragmented, especially we're focusing on the Federal Statistical Office, which is you don't have followers from Federal Statistical. Really a mess, okay. So we are trying to kind of gather all the data in a way that it is searchable on our platform. And there's no ChatGPT that can do that, because ChatGPT, if you ask what is the trend of, of how many people were born in Lausanne, how many males were born in Lausanne, it will throw up some numbers because it sees some numbers in, on the web. It was trained with some numbers on the web from articles, okay? Yeah. But it doesn't go inside the messy Excel files.
And
it
that's what you
do
guys
that.
are.
And that's why we're trying to do, to really go to the source of the things, let's say.
Can I ask who this will be accessible to? Like once it launches,
Yes. So basically we are targeting businesses again. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And the reason is that it has some costs. We don't want to, say, I let everybody use it because I will see some kind of, make a post on LinkedIn. I see some spike of people using it and then they will never use it again. So we need to say, okay, let's start slowly. Find a company that really cares about it. By companies, I mean we're trying to see data journalists. Data journalists don't have that much money, as we may understand, we may know. It's not a good thing. But the point is that they probably need this kind of data on a daily basis. So if you need it on a daily basis constantly, this means that you are more willing to pay for a tool that saves you a lot of money. If you just need to search in the Federal Statistical Office once a month, you can even stay there 2 hours and waste that time, and that's it. You are not going to buy a tool for that. Instead, maybe let's say one day you want to create a story about health in a specific canton or comparing some cantons. Another time you want to see what's the cost of rent in Zurich versus Geneva and see the trend in the past years. Every time you have another story, so you can't be expert in every field or where to search this data, and that's where our tool can come useful. And on the other side, this is from one side, on the other side, we're trying to use our platform to display internal data. Okay, so imagine we are, for example, in conversation with the health department of Canton Vaud. Okay, so let's say they have some privacy sensitive data inside, and they have a lot of people that they are not technical, so it's difficult for them to search. It would be simply easier to say, I don't know, indeed, how many people use drugs in Canton Vaud, and then see the chart. It would be very, very easy, and that's what we are trying to do. So both with the data that we collect from Federal Statistical Office and from the data of the Canton Vaud or other possibly departments that are willing to be our, let's say, customer in the future.
No. And regarding Switzerland, I know that your brother has never lived in Switzerland, right?
No, he lived because he did some again some internships and worked a little bit. Yeah, but in Zurich, not here.
Okay.
Yes.
But I guess that you only did your master here still, and I think that maybe how does it feel to start this project in Switzerland? Maybe not.
It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. Yeah, it's a mess because bits of work permit and stuff like that, things that are not very clear because you are in Switzerland, but you're not generating revenue. So why are you in Switzerland? Can you stay here? All this stuff that is not, let's say, very clear, and there is a lot of overhead of, let's say, you're trying to focus on really finding customers and improving your product, and then you have another hundreds of things that are, let's say, creating troubles to your journey.
Of course. But also regarding the development of your project, it was both you and your brother were okay, let's start this in Switzerland. No, the good thing is that basically we came here, especially here in Lausanne, because let's say now I can say that I'm EPFL alumni, part of the alumni, and then there are some incubators. There is one we are taking part, which is the Blaze, which is basically the official incubator of EPFL, and there are some kind of weekly events, and there is another one which is less known, but I guess it will be very well known in the next few years, which is basically the Trust Valley Association. They have basically 2 incubators. We are in part of one of them, the one for more early stage startups, and they are basically they have a lot of contacts. They are creating a big network among cantons, among international organizations. Like now, they literally created a partnership with the basically Trust Valley, the Secretariat of Economics of the government, and the World Bank. Okay. So it's literally something very big, and there's a lot of possibilities.
It's going to be like this. Maybe not really now, but it's going to be like this. From that point of view, it's a good starting point.
And why not Italy? What were your criteria when you choose where to start a project?
Good question. So,
or did you have any criteria in general?
By default, I was going here, but for reasons related to the fact that some companies are more open to innovation. They have more money. So by default, they have more money. It's important, and there are also a lot of different companies. You find companies that focus on technology and so on, which are not my target, but you have banks, you have real estate, you have luxury, you have a lot of representatives. Even if the country is very small, you have a lot of representatives. Instead, in Italy, it's more a place for smaller companies that in the end in the medium term, long term, they wouldn't even be my customers. But I'm not saying we are not maybe planning to go to Italy in one day.
Now you're still starting off, so it could happen.
It could happen. But let's say the focus now, it needs to be here, I'm finding the people
like
here,
very
and then
specific,
once you find the very specific people that they are really
can
committed,
expand.
they are willing to pay and so on, slowly maybe you can expand.
Yeah,
if it
no,
makes
definitely.
sense.
I think it's really cool and
Yeah,
interesting in
it's-
general, but I also understand that it's probably a little bit scary as well sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You can't know everything in advance.
No.
That's something really.
No.
You can't say, oh, I need to have everything perfect. And I have some people, oh, but you didn't think about this. No, I didn't think because I had another 1,000 things to care about.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you and your brother also have like someone who gives you some external opinion, someone that you ask? Like, maybe, is there somebody else that has started a startup that you guys have like?
No,
Like-
like met maybe,
Yeah.
or
Or
asked.
are you really
A
on
lot
this
of-
journey
no,
alone?
a lot of people, we're trying to meet as many people as possible to explain what we are doing and see maybe if they, I don't know, they can have a contact or they
Yeah.
can simply give us an advice on something, on some, I don't know, legal aspect or just say, or just even to imagine setting the price. You, at the beginning, you really have no idea what price to
Yeah.
charge the others. It can be 1, it can be 1,000. You know, literally.
Yeah.
Can be-
You're kind of like
and yeah, we are getting a lot in contact with a lot of people, especially through these accelerators,
Yeah.
incubators.
yeah.
But
Let's see
I
that.
think like the main source of uncertainty is that you have nobody ahead you. I mean, nobody did the same
True.
thing as. I mean, you're kind of the first one doing this,
True.
and it's kind of the same in every aspect of AI. Every time like companies do stuff, it's like the first time they try to. So you have no one to follow. It's just you like trying to. And maybe that's also why it's hard to convince people that it's actually useful and it works.
Yeah, more than the AI stuff that a lot of people are, working, but it's I understand that it's difficult to know from outside, from someone who's not expert or even slightly expert. It's difficult to understand if you're doing something that it's a wrapper of something that is already existing, or it's something that there is a lot of engineering behind so that something is made possible. More than let's say our field, it's really having no one to follow in terms of let's say entrepreneurship journey. Okay.
Yeah.
You hear about this person, this other person, maybe through these events, you understand a bit of what they did, what the others did. But if it is a different product, sometimes it's totally useless to compare, you know. And not having yourself the experience to do something, it's very difficult for that reason, because there are a lot of things, even the implementation, that you have literally no idea at the beginning. Even if you did some software engineering internships, so you think that you're able to set up a process end to end, so that literally you have something running, you open the computer and you go to the website and you start, for example, in my case, the search, and to do that with the design of the kind of website, the front end and so on. And there were so many things that I had no idea how to do. And when you have no idea, you can't even you don't even know what question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Because if you know what question to ask yourself, you can ask this question to Claude, to ChatGPT. Okay, you ask this question and they say try to check this source, this other source, and so you can start studying and understand a little bit. When you have no idea, what framework, what language to use for the front end, how to visualize the website, you have no idea what to do, and you don't know what is the standard, what other people do, even for something kind of basic, which is required for every software company. And yes, that is difficult. You need to try to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But it's always like that. But then once I think you've seen as well that you've slowly exponentially progressed in the past few months. Like once you start to slowly understand how everything works, then the questions come more easy. And you sort of like everything slowly starts to click, even if new problems arise.
Yes. In the software engineering field, they have the back end and the front end. The back end is basically you can think of when you make a payment, you click on the bottom, and everything that happens behind. So like the payment that is really made, even if there's any internet interruption, so all the cases that are handled. And the front end is literally how you see the web page, you can imagine like this, that is, you know. And in my experience, like up to 6-7 months ago, I had never dealt with the front end. So basically, I didn't know how to, set up the website, how to make things interaction so that you search, a request is made behind. My brother, who's more in the research, maybe handles a little bit. It gives me the answer. So this is the chart that you need. You display the chart, all this stuff. Was something I had no idea. And so the idea at the beginning was, we try to do how we manage, and then we will hire someone. And then the cloud, so or other stuff, other things, or maybe the search that is slow, other things that you say, I try to do like this, then I will hire someone, And then the time passes, and then after 2 months you say, in the end I had to do it because of this and that reason. So now the search is much faster. Now I managed to handle the cloud. Now the front end people say, oh yeah, it's very nice. I think, oh, thank you, very nice. But it's not my progress. It's ChatGPT and the cloud progress that helped me a lot. But the thing is that you can now do a lot of things on your own. You don't need to hire people. When you work on this software, and that's something that I literally see really few people realizing it. Everybody is, you raise money, 500K, 1 million, and then you hire people. But hire people for what? I can literally do it I had to do it on my own at the beginning with my brother. So you have the complete knowledge of what you're doing, and you feel kind of powerful because if
you're
someone asks something,
I did that.
we know. My brother plus me, we know everything,
Yeah, definitely.
And you can go ahead like this for a lot of time and avoid hiring an engineer which costs 100K francs in Switzerland.
It might take like more time because you have to figure it out and ask ChatGPT. But in the end, I mean,
and study that because it doesn't help if you know what question to ask, then it can help. But only in that case.
So you're not planning on hiring anyone in the
My
foreseeable future?
only plan is to hire ChatGPT, but the premium version. Which is still we don't have.
Really? You're able to do everything without the
But
premium?
because we don't use only ChatGPT, we use the competitor, maybe it, Claude. Which is more powerful at the moment, definitely much more. And we are still, I still want to see how this my first employee behaves before giving them a pay, which is $20 by the way per month, not more.
Very cheap employee, by the way.
Yeah, very, very cheap. But still not yet.
And last question for you. What excites you more about the future of AI?
The thing is, the thing that a lot of things will be completely automated and will be made very easy for people. Right now I don't have an exact example. I need to think a little bit about it. But in my opinion, in few years, already now you can do something in the AI field in general because it's considered as a kind of wrapper. And you will be killed. Very soon it will be killed. If you do something, I don't know, I saw a lot of kind of startups doing something like for, I don't know, voice, for psychology to interact with this app. But literally now ChatGPT introduced the voice, and it's kind of obvious that they will introduce. Maybe now it's expensive. Yes, but if it is expensive for them, that they have billions to invest and to give for free, you can imagine for another startup. So that is what I consider, in my opinion, going against the wall. Okay, and the thing is that I believe, but it's good. It's good because few companies, they will have a lot of power. They say really a lot of power, but they will make life easier for a lot of people. Because indeed these models are kind of generalists, they can do a lot of stuff. And what I see is that in few years a lot of tasks will be connected. So it won't be something like you ask to solve you, for example, a specific problems in the code. You will ask to create the website. Done. literally you go to the website at the specific URL and it's done. Okay, something which you understand is much more powerful. And then something like create a startup that does this and it's done. So you understand that it will be extremely easy to do this kind of things. Even a lot of software will be very, very commoditized, they say. So really made easy for everyone, even for non-technical people. So it's something that you don't want to go into. But yes, in the future I see basically more from one side robots and from the other side the biotech field, because that's really a field in which I believe there is a lot of potential that is still not explored. Exploring other drugs, exploring treatments to solve some problems that can be really, really speed up by AI improvements. And
there's
so on.
probably a lot of funding also that goes into that field, which might be.
But still not that much.
Well.
You know why? Because
no, I mean starting off from zero, you might need a bigger funding as well in order to enter
in that field,
in the biotech field.
Yes.
Yeah,
and even because they are not indeed trying to. They up to now they are not pushing that much as in other fields because simply because it takes years, to improve that and to get
and
the certificate.
And you need to be dedicated and committed.
Yeah, but because then before delivering a product, a drug treatment to a person. It's really difficult. I guess even in Switzerland, but even in the US, there are some organizations that handle it, and it takes years. So people prefer, let's say, do something for the financial sector, for the real estate that have a lot of money,
which is more like quick.
More quick. It takes maybe months. You have the right idea, you have the right people, you start having some connections, start having the first customers, and you can expand.
Definitely. But also, so then I guess within AI, there's also finding the little niche market and everything, so you don't have to go against a wall. I guess.
No, that's what we are trying to do. And when you start having a bit the data, you start going through websites that are difficult, they can't be handled with a Google bot that checks everything. If it can be done in this way, and we have a lot of manual process even now to collect some data and so on, then you have some protection in the long term. And once you grow, you need to be kind of intelligent to say, I create my niche, I go into my niche, maybe I expand, but don't expand really directly into their field of this big tech company.
No, of course,
definitely.
So thank you, Simone. It was very interesting, very inspiring, and we can truly see that you believe in your project, and we believe in it as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we hope that you guys enjoyed the episode.
If you also want to know more about Simone, I'm pretty sure they can reach you on LinkedIn.
True.
He shares a lot about his startup journey and everything, so it's really interesting. So thank you guys for listening.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And follow him on LinkedIn. Where he's like, you're growing up a very big network actually.
Not really big, but when I have a bit of time, I share what we're doing.
Definitely.
Definitely. So, thank you guys. See you next week.
Bye.